There is a specific kind of confusion that hits when you realize your referral pipeline has gone quiet at exactly the moment you expected it to be at its strongest. You have more clients than you have ever had. More people have experienced your work. More relationships exist that could theoretically generate introductions. And yet, the referrals that used to come in steadily have slowed down or become unpredictable in a way that does not match the logic of what growth is supposed to produce. I went through this, and it genuinely puzzled me for a while. My first instinct was that I had done something wrong, that a client was unhappy and word had gotten out, that my reputation had taken a hit somewhere I was not aware of. None of that turned out to be true. What was actually happening was structural, and it had nothing to do with the quality of the work or the satisfaction of the clients. The first thing I had to understand is that referrals do not travel on their own. They travel on language. When a past client refers you to someone, what actually happens in that conversation is that they try to describe what you do and what the experience of working with you was like. If that description lands clearly, the referral arrives with momentum. The person on the receiving end has a specific picture of what you offer and whether it is relevant to their problem. If that description is vague or generic, the referral arrives weak. The person receiving it is not sure whether you are actually the right fit. They might reach out eventually out of politeness, but they are not pre-sold the way a strong referral should be. What I discovered was that most of my clients could not describe what I did in a way that was specific enough to generate a strong referral. Not because they were not happy with the work, because my positioning was not clear enough to give them the language to do it accurately. They would say something like, "He is good at business stuff," or "She helped me sort out my systems," and those descriptions, while well-intentioned, were not generating the kind of pre-sold referrals that actually convert. The vagueness was my fault, not theirs. I had never given them the language to describe me precisely because I had never been precise enough about how I described myself. Fixing this required getting very specific about the 1 or 2 sentence version of what I do and who I do it for, and making sure every client heard and understood that framing, not in a scripted way, in a natural conversational way that came up organically in the work we were doing together. When clients have a precise way to describe you, the referrals they send arrive differently. They arrive with context. They arrive pre-framed, and they convert at a dramatically higher rate than vague, well-intentioned ones. The second thing that slows referrals as you grow is something I found harder to accept. It is the thinning of the relationships themselves. In the early stages of a service business, the founder is deeply present in every client relationship. Every client feels known. Every client feels like a priority. That feeling is not manufactured. It is genuine because when you only have a handful of clients, you can actually give each of them that level of attention. And that feeling of being genuinely known and genuinely prioritized is often the thing that generates the referral. People refer providers they feel a real connection with. They refer people who made them feel like they mattered. As the business grows and the client load increases, that depth of presence naturally gets harder to maintain. The clients are still served well. The work is still good, but the personal attention thins. The check-ins become less frequent. The founder knows the deliverables, but knows the person less. And clients notice that shift even when they cannot name it. They go from feeling like your most important client to feeling like one of many. And people do not enthusiastically refer providers they feel have deprioritized them, even when the quality of the work has not changed at all. I had to build deliberate relationship maintenance into my business as a system rather than relying on it happening naturally. Not because I cared less about the people I worked with, because caring genuinely is not enough when the capacity to express that care gets stretched across too many relationships simultaneously. The system was not about being fake. It was about making sure the genuine care I had for clients was actually being communicated in ways they could feel rather than just existing somewhere in my intentions. The third thing that affects referrals as you grow is a shift in who your current clients are relative to who they can refer. When you are serving small businesses or early-stage operators, your referral network is made up of other small businesses and early-stage operators. The referrals you get reflect the clients you have. As your positioning and your pricing move upward, the clients you are working with are in different circles than the ones you started with. The referral network of your new clients points to different people than the referral network of your original clients did. This transition takes time to complete. There is often a gap period where your positioning has moved, but your referral network has not yet caught up. That gap creates a lull that looks like the referrals have stopped, when what is actually happening is that the referral source is shifting from one network to another. Understanding that this gap is structural rather than a reflection of something going wrong is what allowed me to stay patient through it rather than panicking and making changes that would have undermined the progress I had made. Referrals slow down when you grow for reasons that have nothing to do with whether you are doing good work. They slow down because the language people use to describe you needs to be sharpened, because the relationships that generate them need to be maintained more deliberately, and because the network that feeds them takes time to catch up with where your business is actually going. The fix is not to grow slower. It is to build the referral infrastructure that works at your current size rather than assuming the infrastructure that worked when you were smaller will scale automatically. Next, we are going to look at something that drains the energy out of a business in a way that is almost impossible to see until you know what you are looking for. The energy leak inside every service business. I will see you tomorrow.